Okay, now for our daily cancellation. We're going to be canceling this naked exhibitionist and her fans and media. Maybe you've seen this picture. This is, I'm told, an iconic picture, a historically significant picture. I have been reliably informed of an unidentified pervert showing up naked to the Portland riots and actually, as you can see here, spreading her legs for the officers. This is supposed to be a way, I guess, of showing the officers, showing them something. She is certainly showing them something, all right. Specifically, her genitalia is what she's showing them. And of course, the media loves this, perhaps not surprisingly. Here's the LA Times practically breaking into poetry when describing this woman. This is their article. It says, she emerged as an apparition from clouds of tear gas as federal agents fired pepper balls at angry protesters in the early Saturday darkness. A woman wearing nothing but a black face mask and a stocking cap strode towards a dozen heavily armed agents attired in camouflage fatigues lined up across a downtown Portland street. The agents, dispatched by the Trump administration over vociferous objections of state and city officials, are part of a force that has fired projectiles at and detained activists protesting nightly since the killing of George Floyd by Minneapolis police May 25th. Oh, we're still pretending this has anything to do with George Floyd whatsoever. Okay. Numerous photos and videos posted on Twitter show the unidentified woman as she halted in the middle of the street at about 1:45 a.m. She stood calmly, a surreal image of human vulnerability in the face of an overpowering force that has been criticized nationally by civil rights advocates. The agents in gas masks and helmets continued firing pepper balls in a staccato pop, 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 heard on video, aiming low at the asphalt where puffs of smoke mingled with clouds of gas. Before it was over, she struck ballet poses and reclined on the street. She also sat on the asphalt in a yoga-like position, facing officers before they left. The woman making her statement Saturday was altogether uninhibited, at one point standing on one leg and raising her arms in a arc-type motion. As she struck ballet poses, a patrol car arrived and a dozen officers in blue uniforms replaced the line of agents. Okay, and then it goes on. I mean, this thing goes on forever. I can't even come near arguing or reading the entire thing. Okay, but this is all for a chick who showed the cops her genitals. Now, I want you to imagine for a moment a different scenario, slightly different, okay, but analogous. Let's say this was a women's march, and those were a bunch of women holding shout your abortion signs instead of male cops, largely. And then imagine a naked man comes out, emerges as an apparition from the darkness, as the LA Times would say, and strikes a bunch of naked poses, exposing his whole nude self in all his glory before these women. What do you think? Any chance that dude is celebrated? What do you think? You think they're going to be celebrating that? No. On the contrary, of course, he would be condemned as a sex predator, probably arrested as such and officially charged. He'd be on the sex offender registry already. And his performance would be seen as further evidence that masculinity is toxic and dangerous and women are oppressed and so on and so on and so on and so on. This is why we need the Me Too movement. You see, right here. Oh, but this is different somehow, right? This is different. How's it different? Why is it different? Nobody can explain. No one can explain, but it just is. We're supposed to accept. We're supposed to simply accept that it's different and go along with it. Well, no, we shouldn't accept it. And this is something that when it comes to, especially the double standard, I mean, the double standard, especially with how women are treated versus men, the standards that men are held to versus women, I mean, the double standards there are glaring, obvious to anyone with two brain cells. But this does become, I think for some conservatives, a little bit complicated because as conservatives, and I actually agree that men and women are not the same. And this is what we've been saying all along. And actually, men and women should not be treated the same. We shouldn't, in our daily lives and in the way we treat each other, we shouldn't just pretend that if you're dealing with a woman or a man, it's exactly the same. There is a difference. And so as conservatives, we should recognize that. And I've heard some conservatives, in fact, someone on Twitter today was making this argument to me, that, this is a double standard, but there should be a double standard. This is what we think as conservatives, so we shouldn't complain about this. No. Yes, I believe that men and women are not the same and shouldn't be necessarily treated the same. That's what chivalry is about, okay? As men, we're going to, respond to women a little bit differently if we want to be chivalrous. I believe in that. But that doesn't mean, and this should go without saying, it doesn't mean that we should give women the license to be jerks and perverts and degenerates while condemning men for the same. Not only that, but giving women license and actually celebrating them for being jerks, perverts, and degenerates while accusing men of being those things even when they're not. So just a perfect example here. Here's a woman naked spreading her legs for officers in the middle of the street, okay? And we're supposed to celebrate that. On the other hand, if you have a man on a subway who's fully clothed and slightly spreading his legs a little bit because he's a man, and so anatomically he's not able to sit exactly how a woman can sit because he has other, shall we say, concerns he has to take into account here. That is supposed to be gratuitous and awful and patriarchal, and that's a big problem. We have to have PSAs about it and signs on the subway telling men not to manspread. Okay. That's an example of treating men and women differently in a way that is not good and that we should not support as conservatives or as any, I don't care what your political leaning is. We should not support that. So there's a difference between advocating for chivalry and for recognizing the inherent differences between the sexes. You can do that. That doesn't mean giving license to women to act in exactly the kinds of ways they're constantly accusing men of acting and complaining about men acting that way. So no. And there's, of course, nothing chivalrous about seeing that display and celebrating it. Again, should need to be explained. I don't think I should need to spell this out, but I think I do. These double standards, no, we can't accept them. We shouldn't accept them. We shouldn't go along with them. I think too many people are willing to. And we should. All right. So canceled. We're canceling. Who are we canceling? We're canceling the woman. We're canceling, the media. Everyone involved is canceled on this one. And we're going to wrap it up there. But before I do, I just wanted to mention Ben Shapiro's book, How to Destroy America in 3 Easy Steps. Goes on sale Tuesday, July 21st, which last I checked is today. So it goes on sale today at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Ben's going to be doing a virtual live signing event. With your purchase of a signed copy, you can write in questions which may be read on air, and he'll, as he's signing the books, he'll read those. So go to dailywire.com/Ben right now. Now's your chance. You still have a little bit of time to pre-order the book, so I would encourage you to do that, and then be a part of Ben's live signing on Tuesday, July 21st, which is today. So that'll be exciting, and it's a great book as well. I have it on my shelf, and I've been reading it the last couple of days. We'll wrap it up there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for listening. Godspeed. Thank you for tuning in to the Daily Wire, one of the fastest growing conservative outlets in the entire country. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and then subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of our content.